Language learning is about more than just vocabulary and grammar. It's about mastering the hidden skills that truly make a difference. In today's video, I'm sharing 5 powerful language learning strategies that are often overlooked but can transform your progress. Are you ready to find out the 5 things that are going to help you improve your English? If so, then let's get into it. First, let's talk about pattern recognition. This is probably one of the biggest things that are influencing your language learning. Many people focus on learning vocabulary when they start out learning a language. You focus on learning all of these different words, but then you have trouble when it comes to putting those actual words to good use in a conversation. I can't tell you how many students that I have that know lots of vocabulary, but they get into trouble when it comes to putting those vocabulary into actual sentences for a conversation. If you can't use the vocabulary, then they become pointless. Patterns are used everywhere. Think about how many times you've heard phrases such as, "I'm not sure," or "I'll leave that up to you." It's easier to understand these phrases as one set so that you don't end up trying to translate everything word for word from your native language into English. This is the phrase, and this is why it's used. It's a much easier way to think about English learning, don't you think? If you're always trying to think about translating everything word for word, you're going to get to a point where you find out there's some things that just don't translate one for one in your language. So why not just think of those phrases and patterns for their overall use? In English, I say it like this. Translating everything word for word is also going to slow down your process in learning English. If you can start to recognize patterns, you'll start to be able to predict what comes next in a conversation. This will also lead to you being able to memorize more vocabulary because you're going to notice that this vocabulary goes with this pattern. This will make it easier for you to learn more patterns, and in turn is going to help you improve your English, and that's going to lead us into the next thing you should think about. The next skill is also similar to patterns, and it's called chunking. Chunking is all about focusing on phrases rather than just individual words. This is going to allow you to acquire more natural sounding word combinations that native speakers actually use. Essentially, it's about breaking up your language learning into manageable, meaningful chunks that you can use for fluency and overall comprehension. Learning English this way will help you with vocabulary and grammar. If you just focus on single words, you're going to be stuck. Especially when you're just starting out, it's going to be hard for you to make sentences using only those vocabulary words that you do know. If you learn full chunks, for example, "by the way," or "I'm pretty sure that I'll be free on that day," you're going to be able to remember and sound more fluent, which will help you in a conversation. Try to memorize chunks that can be used in different situations and that you can use over and over again. You can start with chunks of vocabulary that are relevant to you, and then you can work your way out from there. If you are a teacher, for example, you probably aren't going to want to start out learning big chunks of medical jargon. It's going to be easier for you to remember things that you talk about daily. One example of chunking that I would use are phrases that have to do with talking about TV shows or sports. Just think about the things that you do the most often daily and then start from there. I really think that you'll notice the difference in your fluency, and that's going to lead us right into the next topic. Next, let's talk about managing your expectations. As you probably know, learning a language can be frustrating, and it's not always going to go exactly the way that you think it should. You are probably not going to progress in the way that you think you should, and just when you think everything is going well, you have a big setback. The way that I think about learning a language is that it's not my native language, so I should be expected to make a mistake, and you should think that same way when it comes to learning in English. So when I'm speaking in Japanese and I get laughed at for making a simple mistake, I have to know that it's okay for me to make those mistakes because it's not my native language, and that's how I'm going to get better. You aren't stupid when you don't know something in English. If you did know everything in English, then you wouldn't be learning it, would you? The trick to frustration is that if you are frustrated, it's probably because you're learning something new. If it's always easy, it's probably just that you're not trying something new, and it's okay to be uncomfortable. You can always walk away, take a break, recharge, and get back to it when you feel better. Come back to English when you have taken a little time to get away from it and get yourself refreshed and ready to go. You might not see everything right away, but if you are learning consistently, you'll find that you are getting better and you probably know a little bit more about English than you think you do. Get comfortable knowing that you're not going to know everything, and that's going to lead us right into the next step. Have you ever thought about how you learn English? No one has one magic formula. You just have to know what works best for you when it comes to studying. The way that I learn a language is probably very different from the way that you learn a language, and that's okay. I have a friend who doesn't like studying at all, but she learns everything through watching videos, TV shows, and then learning through having real conversations using phrases and vocabulary that she picked up in those shows. Maybe for you, you like reading books or learning through stories. The point is that you just need to do whatever works best for you. Try different ways of learning until you come across the best strategy and the best way for you to pick up English. Be curious about what is working and also what's not working for you. You can always adjust your style as you gain more insight into what works best for you over time. There is no one-size-fits-all way of learning, so find out what works best for you, and then let's get into that final strategy. Finally, let's talk about why it's okay for you to just sit in silence. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. You should be able to take the time to sit, think about what you want to say without feeling embarrassed or shy that nothing is happening in that conversation. It is okay to think through what you want to say and then get it right rather than just rush something out to say something so that it doesn't have to be silent. Many people think that if they're pausing too much, that there's too many awkward silences. But even native speakers take the time to really think about what they want to say and get it right before they speak. The next time you listen to a native speaker, see if you can catch how many times that they pause or use phrases such as "let me think" or "give me a second." These are just ways for you to gather your thoughts and really think about what you want to say. I'm sure that you do the same thing in your native language too, and silence doesn't have to feel like forever. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect. Just focus in on having a good conversation because that's going to be most important. And no one is perfect, not even native speakers. So, how about just take a second to really think about what you want to say before you say it. You may even use filler words such as "well" or before you can get your ideas out. Well, that's going to be all for today's video. So if you got any good benefit out of it, how about you share this with someone else that you think it would help? And if you're interested in learning any more English with me, how about click on this video that's popping up on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya.